All right. Welcome in again to another edition of Musings from the Mountains, video podcast presented by WVSports.com. I'm managing editor Keenan Cummings of the site.
And I'm Serre, staff writer.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit to talk about. West Virginia, obviously, has been back on the basketball court. Tough game Saturday against Florida, but it only matters about your next one. And the next one, West Virginia was able to get a win over Iowa State. Don't remember many West Virginia games since I've been covering the team, which was 2011, that the Mountaineers won a game not making a field goal over the final 5:46. But that's what they pulled off last night. West Virginia was able to hold on, had a 15-point lead, got all the way down to one. But West Virginia made some critical plays defensively down the stretch and was able to get a win on the road at Iowa State. You're not going to apologize for it. I say this all the time, but it doesn't matter who it is. You know, you get a win in this conference. It's a big win. West Virginia's at 5-3 now. Every game making my prediction of them getting to 10 wins whenever Oscar left looked less and less insane. I really felt like I kind of went out there on that one, but we're halfway there. And West Virginia still got home games with TCU, Kansas State. So there's an opportunity they can do it. Jared, when you look at that game last night, what stood out to you?
I mean, first off, I pulled up the box score just to refresh myself, and I'm looking at it. It's an interesting starting five there: Jordan McCabe, Miles McBride, Taz Sherman, Jalen Bridges, and Derek Culver. We know Huggins is still trying to really figure out what this team is without Oscar Tshiebwe. The starting five, it worked. Emmett Matthews coming off the bench, albeit he did see a significant amount of time off the bench. But, it came out with a win, so you can't really complain about that. Going down the stretch with struggling to make baskets, whether you're West Virginia, whether you're the Harlem Globetrotters, whether you're the 95-96 Bulls, that's not something you can do and hope to keep winning games. West Virginia was lucky to come out with that one. And, of course, we'd be remiss to forget about Taz Sherman, somebody who has really benefited from the departure of Oscar Tshiebwe. I feel like, I sound like a broken record because we're constantly talking about him, but he's really stepping up. He's really becoming the offensive playmaker that West Virginia needs. Just in general, he's a very good complement to what Deuce McBride brings. I think things are looking bright for the Mountaineers despite, this recent rough patch they've been going through.
Yeah, West Virginia obviously had 2 weeks off. They won 3 or 4, though, since they've been back. So that's a good thing. All 3 league games. They've already have 3 road wins in the league, too. This is a team that struggled to win on the road, in the Big 12. So you're happy about that. Defensively continues to be an issue. You look at this West Virginia team, they're just allowing teams to get to the middle of the floor, straight line drive them way too easily, kick it out for open shots. And when I say open, I mean open. Just step in. Guys can start a campfire and then shoot it. Just wide open looks. Some of that's probably a philosophical thing with West Virginia, adjusting to what they're doing. Some of that is, as Bob Huggins calls it, is guys aren't given the right effort. But you got to stop. You got to stop the dribble penetration. That's where it starts. Guys are getting past that first wave too easy, causing overhelp and leading to pretty much wide open baskets. So you're not going to beat a lot of good teams. Well, you're hardly going to beat any good teams giving them that many open looks. You got lucky last night getting out against Iowa State. West Virginia, though, I think the last 3 halves of basketball is giving up an insane amount of points per possession. If it wasn't for some turnovers, some unfortunately were fortunate for West Virginia. I think it'd be about 1.4, 35 or something around in there that they're allowing, which if you know anything about analytics, that's absolutely insane. So it's going to have to start defensively. Ironically, defense was the difference last night. As I mentioned, West Virginia struggled to score. Gabe Osabuoye come up big. He had a block shot that led to Iowa State not scoring on one possession, and then really kind of took a charge that wasn't called that should have been called on another possession to let Taz Sherman hit a couple free throws and put the game away. So issues with West Virginia, but when you look at this team's resume as a whole, you're 12-5, 5-3 in the Big 12. You don't have a bad loss this year. All 5 of your losses are quadrant 1 variety. So you're looking as good, if not better, than most teams you're going to go up against when it comes to NCAA resumes. It seems almost weird to say today is signing day, but it is. Obviously, things have changed a lot with recruiting. There's 2 signing days now. Well, I say signing day, it really means signing period. Prospects will be able to sign all the way up to April. And of course, you can just enroll. You don't even have to sign. But this used to be the day, the holiday. Now it's more of an afterthought in a sense because a lot of players sign in December. We've already gone through the 16 that signed. They added a 17th and Doug Nestor. No signatures today, not one. It doesn't mean there wasn't some action. West Virginia did pick up a couple impressive walk-ons. They continue to add to their walk-on list. Bryce Biggs, I've seen him in person from Spring Valley. He was MVP at West Virginia's big man camp whenever they could have camps 2 summers ago. Still developing. Was a former quarterback, if you believe it. Now he's 6'6", 280 pounds. Developing offensive lineman. Had some offers, and West Virginia is able to get him as a preferred walk-on. I think that's a big get for the simple fact that you keep another in-state guy home and you give him a chance to play. Of course, Martavian Johnson as well, another guy that had offers. I think Louisville, Kentucky, a few others at one point in the process. He also committed to West Virginia. I think I'll be interested to see how he's counted when the dust settles, with scholarship numbers and stuff. But now walk on, perhaps blue shirt. We'll see what happens there. But another guy that had good offers, other opportunities, and has chosen to play at West Virginia. So, yeah, we have a list right now if you want to track all the walk-ons over at the site. I continue to update it as news come in. But solid day. It's not the pomp and circumstance we're used to, but it's recruiting, and that's what it is. I mean, we're talking about 2021. West Virginia's already turned full gear to 2022. They have spots to fill, still 5 spots. I mean, you're going to see transfers, and the majority of those will probably be transfers, but I'll be interested to see what spots they address. I'll put you on the spot here, Jared. I know you're not a huge recruiting guy, but what spots does West Virginia have to fill with those 5?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, I think right now West Virginia is at a position. It's always nice to have depth everywhere, but in general, and this might be my professional sports mindset showing, but I really think they just need to add the best players available, whatever they can get. Excluding quarterback, I think they've got plenty of quarterbacks. But you could always, if there's a solid top wide receiver out there in the transfer portal, why not? If there's, they brought in Jaquay Hubbard and Doug Nestor. Is offensive line a thing? No, not really. But I mean, if you've got a guy who, if you have a former 5-star recruit or former 4-star recruit, hypothetically speaking, who says, "Hey, I want to transfer to West Virginia," are you going to turn him down? No. So, we're entering year 3 of the Neil Brown Trust to Climb. Things are looking up, but really just I think right now just best player available. You need to keep building that depth, keep bringing in quality guys, and things will just keep looking up for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you. I think you got to take some of the best guys available, but to me, I think you got to hit linebacker. You got to hit probably an interior defensive lineman, maybe another offensive lineman, considering the transfer portal news of the last couple of days. You lost Bryson Mays and Lane Scott. Obviously, they both could come back, but that's 2 guys that for depth. And then probably on the offensive side, maybe a wide receiver, maybe a defensive back, and then maybe quarterback. So we'll see how it all shakes out. There's some ways to get creative with it too. West Virginia's shown that in the past, but no news is good news today, in a sense. West Virginia wasn't expecting a lot of things to happen, and it pretty much went as planned. One real possibility that decided to go to South Carolina and Bam Scott. So we'll see what else happens here moving forward. Recruiting doesn't stop. You've seen it last year and the year before, really. 2 guys that played major roles on the 2019 and 2020 teams weren't even on this West Virginia team when camp started, and Tony Fields and Josh Groden. So we'll see how it goes. But thanks for tuning in again. This has been another edition of Musings from the Mountains.